So this is interesting. I finished the Leak Code Weekly competition, and my rank jumped several hundred after the competition ended. Now, I know that it eventually goes down when they kick out the cheaters, but that usually takes like a week. This was almost instant, so I don't know what that was about, but I guess it doesn't really matter. So, in my last video that I uploaded hammering out specifications, we got a list of, yeah. Okay, that did not cut paste very well. I wonder if it would just be easier to copy it from here directly. All right, add local test framework and verify that it runs. Yeah, that did not copy paste very well. Okay. Yeah, let's just copy it from here. That's fine. I didn't realize it looked that bad. No, don't save. Okay. Oh, I also figured out the mystery of why there was the extra file. It has a temp file while it's recording, so not particularly interesting. Okay, so we are just, let's start a new session here. All right. Add a Gemini API key for higher rate limits. Oh, is that it trying to warn me that I'm about to hit a rate limit? Well, if I hit a rate limit, I will deal with it at the time. I am definitely not doing it right now. So let's see here. Yeah, they got you. They got you by the balls. So okay. Okay, add a local test framework and verify it runs. Add JUnit for SRC test. I'm pretty sure we don't have an SRC test. I was wrong. I was... Run tests in Conacor. Come on. All right, this is done. This is here. So define a user domain model. Create a user data class with the fields that you keep it minimal. ID, name, created at. Your doc's already defined, so model is consistent. All right. Okay. Listed files. Failed searching. Seems like it's really bad at running these system commands. Like, I am pretty sure that Opus or even Haiku doesn't fail at this level when you're using GitHub Copilot. I mean, sometimes it does. I'm not saying it never does, but I'm saying that, I mean, what is this? Is this Gemini 2.5 Flash? It's failing all the time. I've created the user, okay, ID, name, created at, yeah, that sounds good. Is there not a keep all? Seems like, did I click it already and I just forgot? All right, so define a repository interface. First method only, create user. Do not add storage details yet. This is an abstraction boundary layer your app logic will talk to. Okay, so boom. All right. Create the domain repository directory. Yeah, I probably clicked this without even thinking, so let's take a look at it. This really looks like Java. They can say that this is Kotlin, but it really looks like Java. Well, I guess there's a few differences. Okay. Okay, create a fake in-memory repository implementation. This will give you something real to test before room exists. I assume that means something. This is good. This has the smart menu. Oh, God. The smart model, thank you, creating what to do, and then it has the simpler low-end model actually adding the implementations. So let's take a look here. Mutable, in-memory repository, in-memory implementation of user repository for testing and initial development. Okay, yes, this is good. So atomic long, okay, all right. Just for my comfort, be sure to add to the testing requirements MD file to verify that user data survives between loads, so we don't accidentally store in some ephemeral place. Alright, so let's see. Okay, you know what? That's fine. So that may have just been stupid, but what? Write the first unit test for create. Alright. Create user returns created user, assert name is correct, assert ID exists, assert created user is stored in repository. Alright, data repository. Okay, fix. I will need to sync, but that is perfectly fine. Running Gradle sync. Or it can just do it for me. That's fine, that works. I don't like clicking that button. I don't know why it's not automatic to begin with. We've got way too many open tabs. Alright, allow. Go. It's never had trouble finding my Java directory before. This is kind of weird. Probably tried to run it in some weird or stupid way. As soon as we have a real test, I think we can get rid of the example unit test. Running tool. All right. It's... What? Why is it accessing PyCharm? Maybe I shouldn't so indiscriminately click allow. I didn't know that it would... I don't know what this is. Okay. It isn't accessing it. It just... okay. I just need to read the command, and now I see. Terminal command is running. Running. Well, it looks at my whole computer for basically no reason. Whatever. Once it figures it out, it'll have it figured out, right? Okay. Okay, whatever. I don't give a shit. Okay, executing. Okay, this is doing the Gradle build. Build successful. Keep all. So this is like an actual real unit test now, right? And we should be able to run it. And it passes. And I think that we can get rid of the example unit test, which does absolutely nothing. And let's Baby's first real unit test. Okay. That looks good. And now we come back over here. Add basic validation rules. Decide now. Empty names allowed or not. I suggest strongly reject blank names, then write tests for that rule. Okay. Okay. Reject blank names. Duplicate names. Names must be unique. After yes. Reject blank names and duplicate names. This should be both implemented and unit tested. All right. Alright, keep all, and now we should have multiple unit tests. Let's run all of them just because it's fun. Everything passes, sounds good. I decided I want fuzzy matching on names. Okay, not case sensitive, not white space not allowed, not case sensitive, white space not allowed. Yeah. Punctuation is ignored for matching. Printable characters are okay. Write unit tests for kana name, kanji name, rejection for space, for white space, rejection for duplicate with fuzzy match. Example, Alex fuzzy matches yeah. Make tests for kana and kanji names and make sure that rules still apply. Make at least one test for Cyrillic as well. Okay. There should probably be a max name length. All right. Generating response. All right, test user. I was too strict. Spaces are probably okay for names. I wasn't thinking about first and last name. Allow spaces, but implement character limit max 25. Add corresponding unit tests. Min length should also be unit tested. One character is minimum length. This might already be done. Okay. Spaces are probably okay for names. I wasn't thinking about first and last name. Allow spaces, but implement character limit max 25. Add corresponding unit test. Min length should also okay. This looks good. Alex Smith. Alex. Yes. Okay. Create user with blank name. Create user. B26. Sounds good. Yeah. Okay. Feel like that should still be allowed, but whatever. It's fine. It's fine. All right. Okay, add rules for names with fuzzy matching. Okay, so let's go back here. Implement the interface to full CRUD. Get user, list users, update users. All right, I feel like both of these should be done at the same time. Okay. Do not write unit tests yet. We will do that in the next step. Expand the interface to full CRUD. Get user, list users, update username, and delete user. Do not write unit tests yet. We will do that in the next step. Okay. Show full code block. Okay, looks like that's good. Okay, it only did the interface. Okay. Write unit tests against the fake repository. If functionality is not implemented, tests should pass. I want to make sure that there's no misunderstanding here. Okay. I have this weird feeling that Gemini is going to be like, hey, you're actually doing something. Give me money, asshole. And then I'll have to rethink my life. But I'm surprised. Well, no, surprised is the wrong word. Well, whatever. I'll just finish what I was going to say. I don't know. I'd kind of written off simpler models. I think it is Gemini 2.5 Flash, even if Google refuses to say that. And just using it like a junior developer is... I mean, come on. Even if you're a keyboard enthusiast, you've got to admit this is kind of cool. Kind of cool, kind of smooth. So let's see here. Debug. I didn't mean debug. That's fine. It passed anyway, so that's fine. All right. Okay. add active user abstraction. Separate from repository. Active user store. Fake this to it first. I don't know what the hell that means, but apparently it knows what it means. So soon humans won't be required at all, I suppose. Active user abstraction. Because that's what it is. It's an abstraction layer, so yeah. All, and then write unit tests for active user behavior. Setting active user works, reading active user works, deleting active user works. Add an application service layer for user selection. Okay, I think that it's using industry standard terminology that I'm not necessarily familiar with. So I think what it was doing was it was creating ephemeral memory based stuff, and now it's creating the actual writing. And which one did I just run? Active user. So delete user use case. Delete user use case. Allow. What happens if I accidentally hit don't allow? Just like, I'm sorry, tool is now unusable. Go to hell. Okay. I just want to make sure I understand. So before we were making in-memory test-only versions of the CRUD, and what you implemented just now was actual user storage, which will persist between session runs when the app runs on a client device or simulator. Correct? No, not yet. What I just implemented is still volatile in memory. Stop scrolling. Wait, chill. Scroll down. As soon as the app process stops or restarts, all created users, the active user selection will be wiped clean. I followed your early instructions to fake this to it first to keep it minimal. The next step for persistence, in-memory user repository, in-memory active user store. The next step for persistence is make this real and survive between sessions on a device. We need to create 2 implementations or replace the in-memory ones. For a user repository and implementation using Room, SQLite. Oh shit, that was in there somewhere, wasn't it? Damn it! What was the last thing that I sent? Yeah, this thing, like, adjusting its view and scrolling up and down is some of the most frustrating thing. I can't even speak English. It's frustrating so much. So, write unit tests for active user behavior. Write unit tests for active user behavior. That's fine. I have a plan file I am loading from, and Room is mentioned eventually. So, no worries. Let's continue. Okay, so add an application service layer for user selection. This is specified in the MD files, but to clarify, all read-write operations and state checking should go through the abstraction layer. Go through an abstraction layer that can be spoofed or later for testing purposes. No database operations. No, what am I trying to say? No CRUD operations should bypass the interface layer for architecture and testing reasons. Sorry if redundant, unneeded. I'm apologizing to a fucking robot. The future is bleak. Probably quite unneeded. Alright, so it's working, it's working, it's working. My friend has asked me what I'm doing. Just making an Android app. By which I mean... She doesn't know what LLMs are. I'm going to fib a little bit for her benefit. By which I mean ChatGPT is making it. I think she knows what that is. Alright, okay, so... Key features... I mean, perhaps it's just the automation engineer in me, but am I really needed in this process? I mean, it almost seems like I could just drop all of these steps into a plan document and say, hey, helpful, friendly AI thing, do that. Write unit tests for user flows. Switch, delete active user, and recover sensibly. First user bootstrap behavior if you want default user creation. Yeah. Okay, first user bootstrap behavior if you want default user creation. You know what, that's fine. Default user's fine. I was about to say, no, my vision involved taking it straight to the create user screen. But some users may not want that. Some users may be fine with default user. And that's fine. That's fine. If that's what people want, then I shouldn't force them to create a username just because, ooh, that was my vision of how the app should work. And the thing is I'm including a rename user option. So if they've been using default user for 2 weeks and they're like, hey, I want this to say my name, then they can go and change. God. Loud vehicles. I didn't consider it. I didn't think, oh, I'm moving close to a road. Maybe that's a problem. And maybe I should have. Maybe that should have crossed my mind. All right. It says that it ran, but I didn't see it run. Okay, ran 28 unit tests. So, I remember when coding used to be hard? Okay, now we add real persistence. Okay. Okay, now I'm hoping that this is standard enough that it just knows what it's doing. Because this, when I'm writing an app myself by hand, I mean before LLMs did it for you, this is where I would struggle a little bit. It's like, okay, how do I store my data? Where does it go? How do I abstract it? How do I test it? And to be completely honest, I probably didn't necessarily do the best job implementing it because I'm not a database guy. I'm not saying I've never used a database. I'm just saying that, it's not my area of expertise. It's not what I normally do. And maybe with LLMs, it'll never be what I do. But if we can, use something to bridge that gap, then so much the better. That's weird. It doesn't know what libs.plugin.google.ksp is, but maybe that's just because the Gradle sync hasn't imported yet. And it will resolve the dependency. The return value is null. Why is it angry? Why does it cry Schmiegel? Oh, it's pissed. Having a human here is good. If this gets like perma-stuck or something, then we can use a smarter LLM to intervene. This change introduced 4 errors. Well, no, my intuition said that this was going to be a harder step, so let's see what it does. But basically every app that exists in the world stores data somehow. So I think that this is a well-known and understood problem. I should use that instead of the scroll bar because it remains annoying. All right, is it running the Gradle sync? Come on. Come on. Java is not again? Okay. We're on step 14. I'll try not to forget that. This keeps happening. I believe it gets resolved with Gemini's automatic processing. But can I perma fix it? By editing environment variables. I don't want to point to the wrong Java. All right. Okay, apparently this does not have a max number of steps like a GitHub Copilot does, because it just keeps going and going and going and going and going. And you know what? As long as it remains free, I don't really care. As long as it's making... Am I going to have to move to get away from the loud vehicles? It's not most cars, it's just the big mofos, you know? Alright. You can fix it permanently with environment variables. What's happening is Gradle W needs a Java runtime. In your terminal session, Windows cannot find Java from either Java Home or Path. For an Android project, the safest Java to point to is usually the same JDK that the Android Studio uses, not some random system Java. Best permanent fix. Java Home to your Android Studio JDK. Typical locations. JBR, JRE. I think it is the JBR. JBR is the JetBrains runtime. Okay. Oh, it finally resolved it. Thank God. Okay, Android.disallow Kotlin source sets equals false is experimental. It is downloading a whole bunch of crap. Okay. Oh. Nice. Wait, is it running an actual end-to-end test? Dude. Remember when full end-to-end suites used to take weeks to get working? Or maybe that was just our lack of skill, but... Uh-oh, I'm outing myself. Okay. All right. Couldn't help but notice you started an instance of the app inside of the emulator. Did you just run a full end-to-end test? I didn't run a full scripted end-to-end UI test suite yet, but I did perform a functional smoke test on the emulator to verify the persistence plumbing. Here is what was verified with that deployment. Build and deploy. The app builds successfully with the new room, KSP, and data store dependence. Bootstrap logic. On first launch, the user manager.bootstrap correctly detected an empty database and created the default user. Persistence. I verified via instrumented tests running on the same emulator that room, user repository, and data store, active user store correctly save and retrieve data across sessions. UI integration. The main activity successfully pulled the default user from storage and displayed it on the screen, confirming that DI container, app module, and user manager are wired up correctly. Next, I'm planning to implement the curriculum loader so we can start seeing real data on those cards instead of placeholders. Sweet. Please suppress or address this warning so I don't have to look at it anymore. All right. Okay, we were on 14, right? Wait, does that mean I need to run 14? Yeah, it means I need to run 14. Okay, add integration test for the real storage layer. Room CRUD works, data store active user persistence works, repository implementation matches behavior of fake version. All right. All right, where is it? Where is it? Should I add this to my system environment variables, or is there a better way to keep it from keep happening? Yeah, that's some good English right there. The error you see happening because I tried to run as a raw shell command. My internal Gradle build and Gradle sync tools are actually smarter. They use the JDK already configured for your own terminal usage. Is the best way to stop this. The better way, Android Studio Bundle. Instead of installing a separate JDK, I recommend pointing Java Home to one already bundled with the Android Studio. Okay, add Java Home bin to your path variable. Modern Gradle way tool chains. Yeah, you know what? I'm just not going to worry about it. I'm not going to worry about it because I don't care. It's able to resolve, and from its perspective, it ran the command wrong. So, okay, add integration tests. Let's proceed. Okay. Add integration test for the real storage layer. Room CRUD works. Data store active. User persistence works. Repository implementation matches behavior of the fake version. All right. Now, when I was looking earlier, it said that I was unlikely to hit usage limits while using the free version. I nervous? Maybe nervous is the wrong word, but I certainly would be surprised if Google didn't eventually want me to pay them money. I mean, what's the point of just making everything just work? Now, if people were trying to use this for the planning phase, then I could understand wanting a more powerful API. But on the other hand, Google, surely they know that I'm getting a ton of work done absolutely for free, and they're a corporation and they want to make money. So, next steps, repository alignment. All 13 integration tests passed, so I probably have quite a few tests by this point, right? You're gonna tell me how many tests? Oh, of course not. Why would it tell me something like that? Okay. Whatever. Okay. User picker screen loads. Tap, create user, created user appears, select user works. All right. Is everything ready to go? We can add an actual user picker now in the app, or more steps? We have the foundation ready. We have the Just stop, let it finish updating. I don't know why the scroll doesn't behave the way that it seems like it should, but whatever. Okay, we have the foundation ready for a user picker, but to make it fully functional and useful, I recommend one quick step first, defining the domain model for item state. While we have the user entity, agents.md specifies item state and content exposure, also part of the user's data. If we build the picker now, we'll only be switching names. If we add the item state table first, we ensure that when you switch users, the app is actually ready to swap their learning progress to. That said, if you want to see the UI coming together immediately, no. State stuff. What is life? Oh, my friend is asking what my app does. This is the right exciting part of making an app. It's... Now I get to disappoint her by telling her that it's something that she wouldn't be interested in now or ever. It's for learning to read Japanese. Learning to read Japanese. But I will use the same app structure for similar apps like Learn English. Not Stupid swipe type did the wrong word. Learn English for Spanish speakers. And maybe Swedish for English speakers. Unless you had a better idea. English speakers. Unless you had a better idea. A baguette? Yeah, baguette. That's what I meant to type. A better idea. Alright. Yippee-ki-yay! Okay. Boom, 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 boom. Ready to build the UI? Engage. Yes. Build the UI. All right. Sorry, the song "Row, Row, Row" by Stormseeker is stuck in my head. It's a pretty silly one. It's always exciting when I can find a song and I send it to people from the previous generation and they like it. Because so often I hear, all your music sucks. And yeah, I'm sick of hearing that, so. Material.icons.extended. This seems to be going pretty smoothly. Admittedly, the appeal of using Expo and just a combined framework was trying to get away from some of the things that I didn't know, like material.icons.extended, but utilizing the LLM to its potential, it can fill in my knowledge gaps by basically doing it for me. So I don't need to know what the UI backend is supposed to look like, and with that mindset, I don't need to use something like Expo, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Interesting. Oh. She said, what about French, German, or ASL? Well, I don't think ASL would work because it is audio and text-based. You want to learn French? Je parle un petit peu de français. I could teach French. All right. Okay. Keep all. Implement curriculum loader, scheduling layer. Hold on. For the user to be complete, we would need create, select user, create user, change user, rename user, and delete user, right? Create, read, update, delete. With the assumption that initial load will have a default user, and I guess we need protection against deleting the last user. surely that's not all done yet, right? You're right, I was a bit overexcited. Most of these points are covered, but rename is missing and the delete protection is only handled in the UI right now, which isn't robust enough. Delete. Enforce delete rule. Throw an error if somebody tries to delete the final user. Add rename UI. Add an edit button to edit user item that opens a rename dialog. Refine dialogues. Clean up. Add user dialog. I'll start by making the delete protection bulletproof in, yeah. Add the protection and a unit or integration test, whichever is appropriate. All right. Okay, so. She wants me to speak French to her. Hold on a second. While this is working, I'll send a French message. La langue française est la langue d'amour. Ce n'est pas si difficile. Tout ce dont tu as besoin est de pratiquer. That's bullshit. I could say the monkeys are green in the field and she wouldn't know what I'm saying anyway, so whatever. So I don't have to be particularly self-conscious, right? Okay. Alright, bolt test passed successfully. Rename user UI and finishing the user picker checklist. Shall I add the rename feature now? Like I was getting all excited. I mean, I'm sure they programmed it to do that, but it's amusing to me. Rename user UI and finishing the user picker checklist. Shall I add the rename? Add the rename. I will match their enthusiasm. Because, you know, why not? Honestly, this is a lot more exciting than that requirements BS that I did in my last video. I marked that video as boring because, I mean, come on. I'm typing into a window for 45 minutes. You know, I mean, maybe I would be surprised if one single person watched that entire video. Because I'm just not that popular. No, that's not the reason. Because it's just not very entertaining, you know? And maybe if I were like a trusted resource and this were like actual training material, but it's not. It's me looking at my computer and I don't know what the hell I'm doing and I don't know why I'm doing it, you know? I don't have a plan. I don't know why I'm recording myself. I know that most of my videos get like 2 or 3 views. Yeah. Curriculum loader. Curriculum loader. Finally replace the hard-coded on the screen with real data. Okay. I would like to actually run this and see what it does. So I would like to see the state of the application. Conacor, default user. Oh, okay. Default user is Monkey. All right. And then I try to add Monkey, and it should get angry at me. Not so fast. I renamed default. Okay. I ran the app in the emulator, and I made the user. I renamed the user Monkey, and then I tried to create a new user Monkey. And instead of complaining or telling me to choose a different name, it just crashed. We need to implement error handling. Before we proceed. Oh, she's asking me what the French means. I'll say it means you are a baboon and I am not. Okay, to handle the result, fixing user management screen, I'll modify the unconfirmed label, applying the fix now. Wait, I should also check the room registry. All right. Okay, crash prevention. User dialog now uses a try catch block when calling the user manager. If the repository throws an error like similar name already exists, dialog stays open and displays the error message in red. Loading indicator. Added a circular progress indicator inside the create save button when the database is being updated. The button is disabled to prevent future clicks. Visual feedback. The text field is now disabled during submission to indicate the app is busy. Suspend safe. On confirm callback is now a suspend function, allowing the dialog to wait for the database operation to finish before deciding whether to close or show an error. Now if you try to create Monkey, the app will stay up and say user similar name already exists. Is now saved. He really wants to get to the curriculum loader. All right, let's go ahead and take a look. Conacor. All right, so save, and then okay. User with similar name already exists. Hell yeah, it does. Try space. Username is too long. Jason! Create. Alright, user Jason, user Monkey. User Jason, user Monkey. Yeah. It shouldn't be waiting for play or next. It should be waiting for a unit selection. So I think that is the correct next step. Okay. I'm always going to click allow. Can I just always auto allow? Okay, now we can load real curriculum data. Now that we can load real curriculum data, we need to bridge the scheduling layer, pure functions for SRS, then finally update the UIA, what is that? To let the user select a unit. Shall I proceed with scheduling layer, the exponential SRS strategy? Yes. We can't show any cards. Let's go ahead and commit our changes. Git status, git add, git commit, added user persistence, and integration tests, database layer. So this is still running, right? How do I get to the emulator? Running devices. How do I close? I would like to terminate this application, please. How do I terminate the application? Come on. Now restart the application. Okay, the persistence works, so that's good. I don't need to tell it what we're doing. I know that we're done. You're done, that is good, and I think that that is a good stopping point. So here we go.